John lesson 52. We'll start with a summary of chapter 11. Mary of Bethany, who had anointed Jesus' feet with oil, has a brother, Lazarus, who is sick. Jesus arrives in Bethany when Lazarus had died and had been buried for 4 days. Jesus says he is the resurrection and the life. Jesus comes to the tomb. Jesus wept. Jesus commands the stone of the tomb be rolled away. Jesus thanks the Father for hearing him, then commands Lazarus to come forth. The Jewish rulers plot Jesus' death, so Jesus no longer openly walks among them. Chapter 13, or chapter 12, rather, verses 1 and 2. Then, 6 days before the Passover, Jesus came to Bethany, where Lazarus was, who had been dead, whom he had raised from the dead. There they made him a supper, and Martha served, but Lazarus was one of those who sat at the table with him. We see here that Jesus gave a kind of a time marker, telling us that this was the last week before the death and burial of Jesus. Almost one half of John's gospel is given to this last week of Jesus' life here on earth. Less than a week before his crucifixion, Jesus attends a dinner in Bethany, probably to celebrate the raising of Lazarus from the dead. With all Jesus had on his mind, knowing his fate as he came to Jerusalem for Passover, it's pretty remarkable that he attended this dinner at all. Most of us would feel like we wanted to just crawl in a hole somewhere. Verse 3. Then Mary took a pound of very costly oil of spikenard, anointed the feet of Jesus, and wiped his feet with her hair. And the house was filled with the fragrance of the oil. In the midst of the supper, Mary gave a remarkable gift to Jesus. It wasn't unusual to wash the feet of a guest, but it was unusual to do it during the meal itself and to use very costly oil of spikenard to do it, and to wipe the feet with her hair, using the hair as a kind of a towel. Mary's gift was remarkably humble. When a guest entered the house, usually the guest's feet were washed with water and the guest's head was anointed with a dab of oil or perfume. Here, Mary used this precious ointment and anointed the feet of Jesus. She considered her precious ointment only good enough for his feet. To attend to the feet was the task of the most lowly of the slaves. Thus, Mary's action denoted great humility as well as great devotion to Jesus. Mary's gift was extreme. It was remarkable. She used a lot, actually a pound of this costly oil. Spices and ointments at this time in this place were often used as even an investment because they were small, portable, and could be easily sold. Judas believed this oil was worth 300 denarii back in chapter 12, verse 5, which was worth a year's wages for a workman. In all of this, Mary is a study of devotion to Jesus. The life of Mary is painted for us here, and it's done in three memorable pictures, in each of which she is at Jesus' feet. We'll stop there for this lesson.